Okay, this is solving algebraic equations. We talked about plugging in. Now I'm going to show you how we go and solve them. So you have something like this, 5 plus x equals 190. Now most of us can look at that and know what x equals, but I'm going to show you the steps you're going to go through when they get a little bit harder. So the overall goal is to get the variable by itself on one side of the equation. And how do we do that? Well, the first step is to perform the opposite operation to get rid of the term other than the variable. In this case, that would be the 5. So, here's what I ask you to do. I just draw a line right down here at the equal sign. Keep that equal sign lined up. The more you're lined up, the easier it will be for you. So what's the opposite of adding 5? It would be subtracting 5. So let's subtract 5. A positive 5 and a negative 5 will cancel each other out. All you'll be left with is x. Okay? Now, the second thing, whatever you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other. So, when I subtracted 5 from this side, it canceled out. But I have to do the same thing on this side of the equation. Okay? Think of it as a scale. If you don't do it to the other side, then it's not going to be balanced out. So, we'll subtract 5 from this side. 190 minus 5 is 185. Now go back and check. Plug your answer in for the variable. So we had 185, correct? So let's rewrite our problem. 5 plus 185 equals 190. Like I said before, do the problem. Don't assume. 5 plus 185 is 190. So does 190 equal 190? It does. If you check and it doesn't equal, go back and redo. You did something wrong. Never assume. Okay? So let's try one here. Again, I'm going to just draw my line there so I know I have 2 halves. This is my scale. What's the opposite of subtracting 23? It's adding 23. Those will cancel out. What am I left with? X. Whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. So I'm going to add 23. Do that. I'm going to get 121. Alright, and then I want to go back and double check, so plug it in. 121 minus 23 equals 98. Well, does it in fact equal 98? It does, therefore x does equal 121. Okay? I have this problem here. This time I'm multiplying 5 times x, so the opposite of multiplying by 5 is dividing by 5. Those will cancel out. I'll be left with x. Whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. Divide by 5. 35 divided by 5 is 7. Let's plug in.
Okay, you're both in here. I'm taking...
Okay, so plug it in. You have this 7 there for the x. Replace the x with the 7. I'm going to put it just like that. And I put it in the parentheses so that they're kind of separated so you see that I'm multiplying. That's all that means. 35. Okay, again, go ahead and solve the problem. 5 times 7 is 35. Does 35 equal 35? It does. Therefore, x does equal 7. Okay? Go ahead and try this one on your own. It looks like a fraction, but remember, every fraction is what type of problem? And the opposite of that is... So go ahead and do that. Write that down, and I'll check it. Alright? Good luck.